problems. That guy, he just has to touch you once.
Shit's going down.
He's so different than anybody else in the division. Like, he knocks everybody out. Everybody hits hard. They all hit hard.
But
that
shit
fucking
down.
dude hits hard.
Set that Jake Paul can come 15-20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other.
Joe Rogan commented on Anthony Joshua's intense updated training routine for the rumored Jake Paul fight, and his reaction made everything obvious. After watching leaked footage of Joshua firing explosive combinations and training with elite coaches, Rogan described the former heavyweight champion as frightening and warned that Jake Paul may have stepped into a challenge he cannot talk himself out of. With Joshua looking more focused, faster, and more ruthless than he has in years, Rogan believes this matchup could end violently and quickly for him if Jake chooses to enter the ring.
Need to get stronger.
Jake Paul's showdown with Anthony Joshua is set as a fully approved professional heavyweight contest following standard Queensberry rules. The two will compete across 8 rounds of 3 minutes each, and both fighters are required to use 10-ounce gloves. Importantly, Joshua must come in at no higher than 245 pounds, creating a firm restriction to maintain fairness. The result will appear on both fighters' official records. This matchup is completely legitimate and recognized.
Professional bout. This is going on people's records. AJ got to take him serious because this isn't some exhibition. We're running out some judges to act like there's a decision and someone won. No, someone's going to win, someone's going to lose here. It's 8 rounds, 3-minute rounds. Again, heavyweight pro bout, 10-ounce gloves. AJ talking about breaking internets over faces. I think he meant to say breaking his face on the internet. Who knows? Maybe you can do both in the big 2025. But then you have the weight limit, 245 pounds. And people are automatically going to go, oh, God, here's the thing. Oh, here's the thing in the contract. No, stop all that. And I'm going to go on a rant in a second for all the people that thought this was fake, for all the people that thought that Jake wouldn't do this, for all the people that thought he was scared. I'm going to go on that rant in a second. But, okay, yes, 245 is a weird number because Jake has already fought at heavyweight. He fought Mike Tyson at 220-something. But again, I understand it a little bit. We're on short notice here. You don't want to have a Tyson Fury type situation, which AJ would never be 290 coming in here. But 260, 270, it starts to get out of the realm of possibility of, like, what are we doing here? Even though heavyweight has no limit, I get it.
Nisa Badarian, CEO of Most Valuable Promotions and Jake Paul's primary promoter, told Sky Sports that the December 19th matchup with Anthony Joshua represents a major global event. He emphasized that although Joshua is the more seasoned boxer, Paul's intense confidence might become the decisive factor. And he described the fight as a symbolic clash while explaining that their team moved quickly to secure the bout, compressing negotiations and scheduling into a short time frame. He also confirmed firm weight requirements and full professional conditions to guarantee a serious, high-stakes contest. Badarian further told Sky Sports that this showdown with Joshua is far less of a mismatch than Joshua's earlier meeting with Francis Ngannou. He argued that although Ngannou was an enormous athlete, he lacked deep boxing experience, which made that fight more uneven. In contrast, Badarian believes Paul has progressed swiftly in the sport, gaining enough technical ability and ring composure to make this upcoming matchup significantly more competitive.
The weight, will there be a limit for Joshua?
So there's a lot of discussion around the weight. Joshua fought Usyk twice. Both of those times, Usyk was 221 pounds. Joshua was 240 to 245. When Jake fought Mike Tyson last year, 227 pounds. I expect Jake will come in anywhere between 225 and 230, and Anthony Joshua has a weight limit of 245 pounds.
There will be those, as you're aware, that will look at it and criticise this fight. There already have been, haven't there? They'll say it's a real mismatch. what would you say to them? Are we going to be watching sport at its purest?
I would say it's much less of a mismatch than what you saw with AJ and Francis Ngannou, who a massive man, but relatively no boxing experience. I would say it's much less of a mismatch than AJ's 9th or 10th fight against guys who've been knocked out 20 to 25 times. Given AJ's pedigree, Jake is built for this. Jake is built for the big moments. So do I think it's dangerous for Jake Paul? Absolutely. Do I think it's also dangerous for Anthony Joshua? 100%.
Many fight analysts say Jake Paul is taking an enormous gamble by entering the ring with Anthony Joshua. Former cruiserweight title holder Lawrence Oakley has cautioned that Joshua's overwhelming size and strength turn the contest into a genuine danger for Paul. Likewise, former two-time world champion David Benavidez has stated plainly that Paul is stepping into a risky situation because of Joshua's deep experience at the highest level possible.
I give 100% respect to Jake Paul, but that's a dangerous fight for him. He probably gets knocked out, and I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not saying nothing bad, but Anthony Joshua is Anthony Joshua. You know, he's multiple-time champion, Olympic gold medalist. You know what I mean? The last time somebody stepped in the ring with him that didn't have that much boxing experience was Ngannou, and you've seen what happened to him. Yeah. But big respects to Jake Paul. It's gonna be a good card. You know what I mean? It's a big fight, and it's a good fight, man. I give 100% respect to Jake Paul for even taking that fight.
The Ring 4, November 22nd. Watch only on DAZN.
Carl Froch has criticized Anthony Joshua's choice to accept the Jake Paul fight, implying that AJ is basically cashing out, and he says the concern is justified. Froch claims Joshua, having already earned huge money and achieved championship success, now appears driven more by financial gain than by legacy. Considering his secure wealth, Froch believes Joshua has little remaining to prove in classic boxing and is instead selecting a far easier path with a highly paid crossover matchup.
What else have we got to consider? Is AJ cashing out? Well, I did say a year ago when he got splattered by Daniel Dubois that he's finished now. He won't get that confidence back. He's not had any confidence, you know, in his head. No belief for a long time. And I don't think he can get back to world level. There's a couple of new young guns now coming up and coming through. It's like a changing of the guard. And when Usyk retires, I don't know what Daniel Dubois is going to do next, but what Daniel Dubois did to him, then he went on and lost to Usyk. But there's a few new heavyweights coming through, Moses Atalma, just to mention one. And you wouldn't start putting AJ in with any of these young up-and-comers that can punch hard, because I just don't think he's got the chance, because the ambition and the desire is going to be gone. So AJ most definitely is cashing out, and you can't fault him. Fair play to him. He's going to get a massive payday, maximise his exit route by fighting fake Paul.
Some boxing supporters think Jake Paul might actually defeat Anthony Joshua, and they are wagering everything on his punching power. Though often described as a YouTuber turned fighter, Paul has demonstrated real knockout strength in previous bouts, delivering heavy blows that have dropped several opponents. Tyson Fury recently predicted that Paul could stop AJ, pointing to his increasing size and force at heavyweight. Meanwhile, Paul has repeatedly argued that Joshua's chin is fragile, insisting that one precise, well-placed punch might finish the contest quickly in the early stages today.
Do you think he can win, Jake Paul?
I think it's a possibility. No one is backing Jake Paul currently. You've seen him in the ring. You can see that he's got some knockout power. And I also believe people don't look at Joshua's last few fights. And I don't think it's going to be as big of a landslide as people feel. I feel like there's an overhand right that could easily land, and I wouldn't predict that Joshua's chin can last that. The problem is that all of the pressure's on Joshua at the moment. So Jake Paul, if he gets knocked out in 12 seconds, he should get knocked out. The problem is, as soon as Joshua starts taking damage, all of a sudden he's thinking, the world is watching me, I'm a professional fighter, and I'm getting beat off a YouTuber. All of the pressure is in Joshua, and that's a lot that can be on a man. You can't deny that Jake Paul has power. I think it's one of his only attributes. I think he's a very poor boxer, but what he does have is a weird technique where you don't know what
he's got power. How do we know he's got power?
He's knocked people out. Joshua has all of the world looking at him thinking you should walk him over. If it gets 2 rounds, 3 rounds inside, I think Joshua loses.
Many observers are describing this as a true David versus Goliath battle. Jake Paul, who rose to fame through social media and smaller scale boxing bouts, is stepping up against Anthony Joshua, a towering heavyweight with championship credentials and a huge physical edge. Joshua's size, strength, and proven background clearly cast him as Goliath, while Paul, the clear underdog, is relying on his determination, ambition, and toughness to try to even the odds in the ring.
Can't judge Anthony Joshua for getting the bag, as the kids say, for going to wherever the fight's going to take place and taking $92 million for going up against Jake Paul, right? You can't give him for that. You can't judge him for that. But don't try and tell me that this is a real professional boxing contest. I'm saying my guess is that this will be an exhibition matchup. And if it is, it'll be one hell of a show. And I'll certainly tune in. And fair play to both men because they're making an absolute goddamn killing. But what is going on? Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. It's a lose-lose for Joshua. It's a win-win for Jake Paul.
One major concern surrounding Joshua facing Jake Paul is that AJ has competed only twice over the past 2 years. Following a split decision defeat to Oleksandr Usyk in 2022, Joshua has been far less active. He stopped Robert Helenius in August 2023 and beat Otto Wallin in December 2023 before knocking out Francis Ngannou in March 2024.
The problem for Anthony Joshua is his activity. He's only fought twice in 2 years, and one of them he got knocked out off Daniel Dubois. That was his last fight, and a lot of people say you can only judge a fighter's quality from their last fight. And then the fight before that was a win, but it was a win against Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, if you know, he was the UFC heavyweight who's not a real boxer, and he only had one fight before that boxing fight, what he lost as well. So that's his activity in boxing. Now Jake Paul, on the other hand, looking at his box rec, he's had 6 fights since 2023, and one of them was against Mike Tyson. But we all seen what happened in that fight. Mike Tyson was well past his prime. Where Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, is, but I'm not going to say he's coming into his prime because he had some great wins earlier on in his career before he lost to Usyk twice. And by the way, when he did lose to Usyk, the last one was a split decision. It was a pretty close fight. So now this fight is matched, and I just want to look at the tail of the tape. Now looking at the age difference, we've got 28 years old compared to 36 years old. So I guess the advantage there goes a little bit towards Jake Paul. 28-year-old is better than a 36-year-old. But that being said, we've got talking about experience and everything else. What comes with being 36 years old at Anthony Joshua's level. And then, like I mentioned, the heavyweights kind of seem to prime a little bit older. They'll come down to the height and the weight. This is the big one. 6'1" versus 6'6". 200 pound versus 252 pound. We got a 252 pounder in Anthony Joshua. The reach advantage is a lot, which we would expect. Amateur fights, we can see that Jake's only had one, where AJ's had 43, but 43 of them are including at the highest level, Olympic level. And yes, he won the Olympic bloody gold medal, if I don't need to remind you. Now, the pro record, Jake Paul has had 13 fights, lost 1. AJ has had 28 fights, and he's lost 4 with 25 KO.